Welcome to this multi-part series on understanding the 1 to 4 residential contract, promulgated by the Texas Real Estate Commission, and commonly referred to as the contract. I'm Reagan Burris with the Burris Group. You know, our clients put a lot of trust into us as realtors in handling the contract in a real estate transaction. And the most important part of any real estate transaction for a buyer or a seller is actually understanding the document that they're signing. And that's why I've put together this series of videos to help you have, a deeper understanding of it. So whether you're an agent, a buyer, a seller, or soon to be in a real estate transaction of some sort, I hope you find these videos informative. Did you know that there are 23 paragraphs on the contract? Not to mention numerous addendums that can accompany it. And, now generally people think of things that are covered in a handful of many of the paragraphs, such as, who's on the other side, the buyer versus the seller, sales price, who pays for the title policy, and then of course the closing date. Or, perhaps even in simpler terms from a seller's perspective, how much will I net and when will I get it? And then from a buyer standpoint, well, how much money will I need to have and to bring to closing, and when will it be mine? So let's just dive right in, okay? The first paragraph, it discusses the parties to the transaction, known as the seller and the buyer. Now, you may think this is pretty straightforward, and for the most part, it is. However, it is very important to make sure that the parties are who they say they are and that they are legally able to participate in a real estate transaction. Now, for example, there have been instances where a son who shared the same name as his father actually attempted to sell his parents' property. Yes, that actually has happened. Now, also, on the buying side, well, you need to make sure the buyer is who they say they are. And in most cases, their lender has already done this for you. Now, and the buyer should be pre-approved if you've already got an offer on a contract. So let's take a look at paragraph 1. It reads as follows. Parties. The parties to this contract are blank seller and blank buyer. Seller agrees to sell and convey to buyer, and buyer agrees to buy from seller the property defined below, which leads us into paragraph 2. Now, there seems to be a lot of confusion and or misunderstanding when it comes to this paragraph. Now, this paragraph is about the property. Pretty simple, right? The house and the land it sits on. Now, that's not rocket science. Rocket science. Well, it is considerably more detailed than that. Therefore, this paragraph is broken down into 5 parts. So let's take a closer look. It reads as follows. The property, the land, improvements, and accessories are collectively referred to as the property. Easy enough, right? Okay, well, let's look at subparagraph A. And it talks about the land. Now, you will have the address or physical description. You'll see where that goes. But however, a real estate transactions use the legal description to transfer property, as you see here. A, the land, the lot, the block, what addition, city of blank, county of blank, Texas, known as, and that's where you put your physical address, the address and zip. Now, you may have thought that was it. Well, that's the property that's being sold. Well, this is where many buyers and sellers are confused about what is really considered the property. Remember, paragraph 2 starts out with saying that the land, improvements, and accessories. Okay? Well, let's look at subparagraph B. And that one talks about the improvements. And it reads as follows. Improvements. The house, garage, and all fixtures and improvements attached to the above described real property, including without limitation the following permanently installed and built-in items, if any. All equipment and appliances, valances, screens, shutters, awnings, wall-to-wall carpeting, mirrors, ceiling fans, attic fans, mailboxes, television antennas, mounts and brackets for televisions and speakers, heating and air conditioning units, security and fire detection equipment, wiring, plumbing, and lighting fixtures, chandeliers, water softener system, kitchen equipment, garage door openers, cleaning equipment, shrubbery, landscaping, outdoor cooking equipment, and all other owned by seller and attached to the above described real property. As you can clearly see, it's more than just the house and land that is being conveyed. Now, we have covered the land in paragraph A, and we've even covered the improvements. Now let's see what's considered the accessories in subparagraph C. Now it says accessories. The following describe related accessories, if any: window air conditioning units, stove, fireplace, curtains and rods, blinds, window shades, draperies and rods, door keys, mailbox keys, above ground pool, swimming pool equipment, and maintenance accessories, artificial fireplace logs, and controls for garage door openers, entry gates, and other improvements or accessories. So as you can see, there is more than meets the eye when it comes to the property in a real estate transaction, which is why there is subparagraph D, and here is where it talks about exclusions. Now, exclusions are any improvements or accessories that the seller wants to keep, and it reads as follows. Exclusions. The following improvements and accessories will be retained by the seller and must be removed prior to delivery of possession blank. That's where you would put those in. Now, although you can put items in there that'll be retained, it is always best practice for the seller to go ahead and remove them prior to listing. And last but not least, subparagraph E. Now, this is pretty straightforward and doesn't come into play very often. It talks about reservations. And most people will understand mineral rights, but it reads as follows. Reservations. Any reservation for oil, gas, or other mineral, water, timber, or other interest is made in accordance with an attached addendum, and that concludes paragraphs 1 and 2 on the 1 to 4 real estate contract. Now, I hope this has been educational for you. I know it's a lot of information, but if you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below, or you can call me directly at 512-878-9943. I'm Reagan Burris with the Burris Group, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.